Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In times of crisis, you see limitations, you see opportunities. The problem is, can you grab those opportunities and can you take advantage of the limitations of other players? So now the United States and most of the Western world, they are engaged in destroying their how should I put it, the big prize, which is Russia. They got Russia in Ukraine and they are showing, I think, their limitation. They being the Americans in the first place. Why? Because, Great Britain, Germany, France, yeah, they are, I don't know, second, third tier powers. They are not what they used to be. Obviously, they are better than Romania, Hungary, Czech Republic, and these kind of bottom-feeding countries. But on the world scale, they can't really conduct a war, let's say, in Taiwan. If tomorrow something happens in, United States is not there anymore, is dead, or non-existent, and something happens in Taiwan, Australia can't do anything, Japan will not do anything, Germany, nothing, Great Britain and France, zero. They don't have the same capability. And the other ones are not as they used to be, let's say, in the 50s in Indochina. Remember? Even then, the limitations of the French army was shown, and then eventually it was dropped on US's lap. That's how it started, remember? Now, and what's going on right now? Right now you have the Middle East. Middle East was under US's thumb for some time now. And the United States had some allies over there, which is the Israelis, which are allies as long as they can control the United States or as long as they have an interest. And then they had Saudi Arabia, mainly because Saudi Arabia said, okay, we don't want to be toppled. We want someone to buy our oil. We want to do business. You just give us weapons and protect us from the crazy Arabs, right? That's how it goes, and Iran especially. Now, imaginary or real threat, it was that it was. Now, what happened? After this bullshit in Ukraine, what happened? Saudi Arabia, no more friend. You got Turkey, who's playing with everyone, like the neighborhood's bicycle, if you know what I mean. Anyone can ride it. and then you have Iran, who's not a limited little country. They play with Saudi Arabia. Even with Saudi Arabia, they still play with Iraq. They play with Syria, and now they play with Turkey. Remember, the Pakistani Prime Minister, I think, visited again, friends with Turkey, friends. They are getting a little friendlier in the Middle East, and there are some eyes, googly eyes, that are very scared about it. I think at least two pairs, one being the Israelis' eyes and the other one the Americans' eyes. The Americans could not grab Saudi Arabia by the neck and hit it because it couldn't. Not so far. So far we're not able. Remember, little threats, a little this, a little that, a little fist bumps, and that's it. No 2 million barrels off the market from the Saudi Arabia. Threats and blah, blah, blah. We didn't care. Now Saudi Arabia is friends with Erdogan. Bam, bam, bam. Now what's going on here? We have all this, I don't want to say a big party, because these guys are not trusting one another much. But anyway, at least they talk to one another. In Syria, a lot of things happen. Between Turkey, the Syrian army, Assad, I'm talking about, Russians, and the Kurds a little bit. The Americans are over there again. Who are we voting with? What the hell are we going to do? I understand we steal the oil here, but these guys are getting together and we're going to be without a purpose, kind of like alone, surrounded by these guys. Now, the Israelis bombard Damascus every 3 hours. I don't understand how that is legal under the international law and the law-based order, blah, 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 international community, United Nations, tra-la-la, as we're told. And last time I checked, Syria was a sovereign country. But hey, I guess Israel has a special treatment because of its victimhood status. Anybody have nuclear weapons somehow? You can make shit up, my friends. Now, what's going on here? This article comes from Al Mayedin. It's an Iranian. No, they say Arab. news outlet. And this is the title. It's from today, the 9th of January 2023. Iranian president to pay official visit to Turkey and Syria. Do you think the United States and the other googly eyes, Israel, the Jewish state, look at this and say, nothing to see here, just a little bit of a ping-pong game over there. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani reveals that President Ebrahim Raisi will have official visits to Syria and Turkey. The Iran foreign minister announced on Monday that President Raisi will be visiting Turkey and Syria, and I'm quoting, "Upon invitation, the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ebrahim Raisi, is planning trips to Syria and Turkey," end quote. Spokesman Nasser Kanani said at a press conference and quoted by Irana news agency. On Sunday, Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein Abdollahian and his Syrian counterpart Faisal Maghdad discussed over the phone bilateral relations. Tehran played a significant role in supporting Syria, its territorial integrity, and the process of political settlements of the Syrian crisis, and these efforts were recognized by Russia and Turkey, Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Nasser Kanani said earlier this month. A meeting between the Turkish, Syrian, and Russian presidents has been scheduled, but not for January. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said in the final days of December. The Russian, Syrian, and Turkish defense ministers held previous talks in December in the Russian capital, Moscow, to discuss means of resolving the Syrian crisis, the former defense ministries said. A Turkish member of parliament from the Turkish Justice and Development Party stated to Sputnik at the end of December that the Syrian and Turkish ministers are expected to hold the next round of talks in Ankara and Damascus in the upcoming year. Well, what can I say? Miroglu added that Iran will be given a seat at the table. However, so far it is not yet clear whether the Islamic Republic will agree. Well, they want to be partners in all that in the region. Last month, Turkey ramped up its military preparations after an explosion in Istanbul, which Kurdish militants were held accountable for, though denied involvement. Ankara then launched strikes against what it claims to be YPG, Kurdish blah blah blah, targets, and the president gave the possibility of coming ground offensive. But they said we retreat because they spoke with the Russians, not with the Americans. The Americans were like, don't do it. What are we going to do it? No, we're going to do it. Are we going to shoot at one another? Well, so be it. So it seems like without the, big instigator still busy dissecting things in Ukraine, these guys are just quickly doing something, and this is what happens. I don't know if you guys are hunters, probably not, but if you are, you're familiar with deer hunting. That's the way it is in deer, no, not deer hunting, but in deer, when it's the rut and the bucks are chasing does, that's always the dominant buck who pushes all the other little bucks away, and he chases groups of deer, of does. The other ones just stay around. They don't dare to approach because these guys are going to attack them. Now, when the buck, senses one doe that is, ready, then he goes with her and he follows her, and they stay somewhere for a day or two when she has the peak, and then after that he comes back to chase the rest. Guess what happens over there in the meantime when the dominant buck is gone? All the other second, third, fourth tier of bucks are right there around the does to do what they do best and sleep. No, but they're over there. When this guy returns, everybody's scattering around. But in the meantime, these guys gave their seeds to whomever was open at that time. So the same here. United States is busy right now with his dough in Ukraine, which is trying to the Russians, and in the meantime the rest of the world, does things together, hanky-panky, before the big guy shows up. And when he comes home, say, what the hell did you do, kids? I've been going, 5 minutes? And you already turned the house upside down? That was my mom telling me and my brother. He said, I couldn't go anywhere for 5 minutes and now the house is upside down? Yes, that's exactly how it was. And then smack, smack, and clean. That's how it worked. It worked. I turned up pretty... Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.